Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Friday night. It is February 2nd. Looks like the United States airstrikes have begun. I'm going to go into that a little bit. I'm also going to share a very good passage with you, so stay tuned for that. It will make you feel it'll make you feel good. It'll make you feel better if you're not feeling good now. Okay, I promise. Stay tuned for that. And I'm going to read something to you that was going to most likely infuriate you uh, that is related to the invasion that is ongoing to the south. Okay. Um, so I'm going to cover those things right now. I'm going to go ahead and do that first. I'm going to read that. Uh, I saw this afternoon. It said that New York City mayor is going to hand out $53 million in prepaid cards to quote unquote migrant families. This is piloted by Mobility Capital Finance. Cards will refill with up to $1,000 every 28 days. Program success may lead to expansion for all 15,000 migrant families, quote unquote, migrant families in city hotels. Just 4 months ago, this guy said that the open border will destroy New York City. And now he's saying this. We're in trouble, serious trouble. And this is just going to be allowed, I guess. Where are the leaders? It's time for the adults in the room to take over from the children. It really is. And I don't see how we can wait a year, even if there is an election, and even if um, there is a change. That's a year out, pretty much, right? $53 million, $1,000 every 28 days. I heard another estimate on a lot of these folks that are coming in. They're illegal migrants. They're not just migrants. And I heard an estimate to where they can get up, if they apply these programs and this and that and getting all these freebies, they can get up to almost $3,000 a month. And then on top of that, if they want to, they can work under the table and not pay taxes. Living in hotels, and we have veterans that are homeless. I, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of focus on these airstrikes and these military strikes, and it's a distraction. Part of it is a distraction. I know, to get your mind on that and all the news and all that. Where the real, to me, in my opinion, the real clear and present danger is to the south. Now, again, I always say this: are there well-meaning people in these groups? I'm sure there are. I'm sure. Um, but we don't know who they are. We don't know. I saw a story a while ago where several of them were jumping on New York City policemen, and they got away with it. Just, okay, let them go. Yet we're arresting people for singing hymns outside an abortion clinic, giving them years in prison, while you're just letting people rob everything, rob cities blind. Stores are having to close nationwide. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. These things happen on Fridays too, don't they? They always seem to happen on Friday afternoons or Friday nights. I wonder why. We know. But I'm telling you, this invasion, it's going to continue. It's just getting started, y'all. It's getting started. I don't care what they do at Eagle Pass, Texas. I mean, it's good to see them make a stand like that. But the truth of the matter, the reality is they're going to flood in and other places if they need to, as they are already, I'm sure. And it will collapse, man. It will collapse the health system. It's already stretching it out. Your health system, the financial, your your retirement, Social Security, social services, you name it, housing. These people don't live. I know we were We were talking about this, Ms. Dawg and I were talking about this earlier. We are a country built on immigration, immigrants. But the way it was is they came in and pretty much, for the most part, assimilated into society and were productive. They were productive. And they're Americans. They came in and did it the legal way. There is a path to do that. There's a path to do that. My mother, I've said this before, my mother is an immigrant. She came here, she got on a boat from Germany, from Europe, came here when she was 18 years old. Didn't know the language, learned the language. It took a while. It was hard work. It was not easy. She's told us about it. Went through the steps, jumped through all the hoops, took the classes, passed the classes. First, she had to learn the language. It took a while, it took some years. But she did, and she became a naturalized American citizen. She's still kicking. She's in her 80s. And it's hard to meet a more patriotic person than her. She can tell you about running in from, she remembers as a little girl in World War II getting to the bomb shelters. He went from that to becoming an American citizen. You should hear her talk nowadays about all this stuff. You want to get a lesson? Talk to my mom a little while. It's a trip, man. It's a trip. Anyway, I got off on that tangent. I digress. Couldn't help it. But and are there people within these groups that could be productive? I believe they can. But along with it are millions that are not. And the problem is, we were talking about this earlier, when they get in all these things, all these gimmies and all these thousands of dollars, and so if they can't work for something, they don't value it. And so they get all this free stuff and hotel rooms. And how long is that going to last? And what happens when it doesn't last or when it's lessened or when it's taken away? You know what's going to happen? It's going to happen like we saw a couple of days ago, was it yesterday, when they jumped those cops, but on a mass scale. That's what's coming. That's coming. They're going to be angry. They're already angry and getting stuff. Prepare your homes, prepare your property, people. Get ready. Your neighborhoods. You should be talking about this. Of course, try to talk about this to the most people, and they'll look at you like you've lost your mind because they're totally unaware. They're busy distracted by something else, I guess. It's going to hit them one day. It's going to be rude. It's going to be a rude awakening. Okay, I'm going to move on because I'm getting mad about that. All right, the airstrikes begin. All right, I saw this afternoon where the airstrikes have begun. Hitting back on these Iranian linked militias. I like to call it Persia. I still like to call them Persians. And I've known some Persians. I've known some people from Iran, and they're nice. They're good. The people. The people are the good, productive, smart people. I've known several. I've worked with some. It's just they're ruled, and their leaders are. It's a theocracy, and they're crazy. They've been able to hold on to power somehow. But anyway, I like to call it Persia. But these are Iranian-backed militias. They're hitting them, and looks like these big airstrikes have been taking place today over there. They're hitting targets and looks like Syria and Iraq. It's retaliatory airstrikes. Now, this is in response to, they're saying this is in response to the base that was attacked, of course, last weekend, that killed 3 United States service members, left about 40 plus wounded. We don't hear nothing about them. I mean, at least I haven't seen it. But what happened to the 40 wounded? I mean, are they critical? How critical? Do they have traumatic brain injuries? I don't know. Are they disabled? I don't know. But so it's in response to that. My concern. Oh, before I get to that, they're saying that this is and this is in the initial stages. It started today, against the Iranian proxies. They say It's going to last at least through the next few days. It does not look like they're hitting Iran, Iran itself, or Iranian troops. I mean, they waited almost a week to give them plenty of time to get out of Dodge and warned them. They warned them. It also includes, it said 84 aircraft, including B-1 bombers from the United States. I believe those are the bombers that can take off directly from the United States, fly over there, drop their ordnance, and come all the way back, go all the way around and come back to the United States. I guess they're refueled in air, probably in flight. I guess that's the proper way to say that. But also, I saw where this Kirby, the military spokesman earlier said, "quote unquote," we're not looking for a war with Iran. I have a problem with that because I get that you may be thinking that, and that may be the thinking in the leadership. We're not looking for a war with Iran, at least not at the moment. But you don't say that. You got to put the fear, you got to strike fear in these people. They only understand strength. You say something like every tool is on the table. That's what every administration before him said. I think even Obama has said that before. Every tool is on the table. All targets are on the table. All countries are on the table. When it comes to you harming our people, nothing's off the table. You got to say that. You got to be strong. You don't say, "I'm not looking for a war with you." Oh, that sounds scared. This guy looks like a dweeb, man. He's supposed to be an admiral. What did he admiral? What was he in charge of? I mean, dude, come on. At least act like you're strong. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. This is horrible. This looks bad. This looks very bad. Really, really bad. I mean, this is only, I said this is my concern last night. This is going to invite more attacks because you look weak. Now they're saying they're hitting targets that are linked to Iranian Revolutionary Guard, but in Iraq and Syria only. About 85 targets. Buildings and sand. I said this last night or yesterday. They're going to hit buildings and sand. They're literally pounding sand. And how pitiful is that? Deep breath. Deep breath. It just looks weak. My concern here is that, yes, this is just going to invite more. Because when you show the bully that you're not committed and that you're tentative and you don't sound strong, you don't come across strong, what's going to happen? The bully don't stop. The bully is emboldened. The bully's going to keep coming back. And my concern here is, and then the next step is they're going to keep the attacks up. And this is going to keep going back and forth until one of our ships gets sunk or badly damaged. And you take on a lot more casualties. This time it was 3 people. What happens when it's a whole ship? What happens when it's like 100 sailors? What happens then? You're going to ante up then at that point? What happens? Shouldn't even get to that point. Should say, if you harm one, at the outset, if you harm one of our service members, you're going to regret it. I'm going to take out half your Navy. The next time I take out the rest of your Navy. That's what you got to say. That's what every tool is on the table. Every target's on the table, including your Navy, including Iran itself. Military targets there, your bases. They should hire me to be a consultant. I would be glad, I disagree with them and I think they're buffoons. I would be glad to come on. If they want to hire me as an independent consultant, I could come in there and tell them that. I would too. Y'all know I would. Y'all know I would. Hey, I'm not even a military expert, but this is just common sense, man. It's common sense. Come on. Anyway, all right, I've gone on about that. Probably too much, too long. You're still watching. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go to the passage. There's a reason I keep the passage at the end because I need to calm down a little bit. Man. All right. It is from, deep breath, it is from Matthew. Matthew, I think this was the Bible app verse of the day, actually. They just have one verse, but, I got to go longer. I got to go a little more than that, y'all. Um, this is the parable of the lost sheep. You may have heard it before, but uh, Jesus talking to his disciples. He says, "See that you do not look down on one of these little ones, for I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven. What do you think? If a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go to look for that one that wandered off? And if he finds it, I tell you the truth, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should be lost." Amen. The word of God right there. And if you're lost, and we all are at times, there have been times where I was lost. I was completely lost. But I felt him there. I did. And I resisted it. I was looking in all kind of other ways. I did. But I still felt it. He never left me. I finally came back on board. And a lot of y'all can probably, most everybody can probably identify with that at some point in your life. Maybe you're there now. You may be lost right now, but you can be found. And he keeps coming after you. So reach back out and answer it. And if we see somebody lost, let's try to reach out to them. At least make the effort. All right. Share your thoughts. Going into another weekend. Let's be safe out there as you're running around. Be aware. God bless you. I will see you soon.